back. Don't worry, I'm coming to Houston. Even me, I'm eager to come to Houston. Okay, thanks for joining. Let's know the city you are joining in from. We're going to have a great time in this session. We're speaking with the futurist, talking about how to handle change, and especially this particular season. You're welcome. Tell your friends, tell everybody. The great conference is on. It's been awesome from 12 noon today. Thanks for joining me from Canada, from Festac. God bless you from Abuja, Surulere. God bless you. You're welcome again. God bless you. Thanks for joining all the way from Ibadan, Uyo, Nigeria, Abuja, Canada. God bless you. Kaduna State, good to see you. God bless you. Wow, we are trusting God for a great Taraba State. God bless you. God bless you. All the videos will soon be up sometimes tomorrow morning, but we're having a great time. Joining from Lagos, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Port Harcourt, God bless you. All the way from Maryland, USA, I salute you. From Qatar, Australia, God bless you. Lagos, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. You.
Hello, man of God.
Wow. God bless you. Wow, we have a prophet in the house. Okay.
Awesome.
Tell everybody to come. We are ready to fly. Tell them we are ready to fly. PK, if you allow me to call you PK, Sam. Thank you
please,
so much.
Please.
Even the way your hair is doing, it shows that hey, fire is on the mountain. Oh, glory to God.
It's Baba. We can't go to the Baba.
Now, I love the fact that Kule Shorio is described as a futurist. So it's a fire horse, you know, when it starts like this. So I'm going to allow him. Don't carry pen, if possible. Just be planning to watch this video again, and then you want to write down and learn a whole lot. He was born for a season like this. So we're going to be talking about change and various things. So you're going to, PK, please greet the people. And then the first question you're going to just start with straight is, why do people resist change? Everybody likes things to change. In fact, we change every day. We grow. Our hair grows. Our nail grows. But people now resist change. There must be some reasons to that. So greet the people and then discuss with us for the first question, why do people resist change? Fire answer.
Thank you. First of all, I should celebrate you, Pastor Yemi, for your strength and for all that you do. Your vision and your authenticity is priceless. I celebrate you so much. You represent so much for so many people. And one of the rarest qualities you can have in our time is authentic leadership. It's not something you find everywhere, and you demonstrate that by God's grace. So when I recognize that, I just want to camp around it. I want to congratulate everyone on your platform, all those who follow you, the members of the church. They are indeed blessed with the rarity that you bring. And I have to celebrate that, first of all. Again, I want to thank everyone here. Thank you for receiving my ministry. Thank you for being here. I love you all. It's a privilege to be speaking to you. And so I'm excited. Yeah. We are in strange times. So there's no better time to have the conversation on change than now. And the question is how, first of all, that session, Pastor Spodu's session was amazing. I watched it. The last take on love and his own personal example was priceless. Priceless. It blessed me personally so much. Yeah. So change. Why do people resist change? I think the reason they resist change is because essentially they are too loyal. You see, there is a loyalty that we breed in our practice of a prevailing experience. So when we are engaging something that is working, right? If you look at the Jews, for example, they were so loyal to the Old Testament that they forgot it's going to change, right? And loyalty is a very important instrument, but it's something we have to manage with some caution, because a prevailing experience is actually oppressive when you have to break into something new. You want to pivot into something new, or you want to morph into it, or you want to disrupt yourself into something new. One of the greatest challenges to doing that is the loyalty that comes from a prevailing experience. So what I say to people, that's exactly what happens to them at Kodak. And the reason is, if you look at Jesus, for example, there is an excitement that comes with the arrival of something new. Wow. And that is where the devil camps. So when Jesus got into Jerusalem, everybody celebrated him. People rejoiced. They came to welcome him. They called him Messiah, King of Kings, Hosanna to the highest. They did all of that because it was a new instrument coming into their old experience. It was a new instrument coming into their old experience. But by the time it settled into Jerusalem and began to say stuff that was going to impact on their prevailing experiences, on their preferences, on their prejudices, on the things they also there, they resisted him, right? So the thing is, people resist change because essentially they are just too loyal to what they know, right? But what they also forget is that new is old happening to new people. Wow. You see, new, there's nothing new under the sun. And everything new is old happening to new people. It is so what is new in change is the people, not the first coming. The first coming is not new. For example, we've always had trees, right? Trees created paper, right? So for the weak observer, they could say paper was new, but paper is old, trapped in trees. Glass cup is old, trapped in sand. When we heat sand to a level, we have glass cup. So the newness of life is always trapped in the excellence of what is working yesterday. That is why King Solomon said, "There's nothing new under the sun," and he said, "What will be is what has been." Hey! And if I ask you, what is the one word, sir, for what will be is the future.
Sorry, my head is getting hot. The way your brain works is dangerous. Oh. What is this? Wow, wow, wow. Paper is already inside the tree now. So
Yes.
for us, it's new, but it's been there.
Yes, it's been there. It's been there. It's been there.
So there is really nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing new under the sun. In fact,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
In fact, sir, Solomon said, what Solomon actually said is that what will be is what has been. And if you want to look for one word to represent what will be, is future. Future.
Yes.
That is past. So when Solomon said what will be is what has been, it means the future is the past. So part of that is that when you want to create newness, in Ecclesiastes 2, the question was asked, what can the man do who succeeds the king? The response was only what has already been done. He said, what can the man do? Ecclesiastes chapter 2. It says, what can the man do who succeeds the king? The Bible said, only what has been done. And somebody may say, what do you mean? How can he do what has been done? What he's saying is that you can't create newness from new, because light does not shine out of light. In a flawed world, light shines out of darkness. And so you have to recognize the power of the old, because it is in the old that you bring newness from. So the way that works is that when you look at the past, tomorrow is trapped in the past. When we have to be relevant tomorrow, we do that by questioning the past and what is prevailing and finding the incompletion in it, because new always hide as an incompletion or as a loophole in what is yesterday. So every time you want to find, so this watch looks like it's a perfect watch, but there is a loophole in this watch that the eyes cannot see. It is it's an incompletion. What they do in this company is they go to this watch and find what is incomplete, and they build solution blueprints around it. That is why I tell people, if you are ready, you are late, right? Because readiness is an oppressor. You can't afford to be ready in the architecture of change, because that is why you see Windows. We do Windows 8, then Windows 10, then iPhone 8, iPhone 9, iPhone 10. When they were releasing iPhone 8, they knew that it was not done. There's iPhone 10, but they can't be ready for that. So they bring out what they have in the format your generation can deal with, and then they continue to work on it. So part of what is happening is the New Testament, for example, God had it in mind, but he had to present it as a palliative, because the people of that time, of the Bible days, of Moses' days, cannot contain it. So wisdom is released according to the weight of clarity that the generation can handle. So when we talk about change, we will naturally resist change, except we come out as an independent force to question what we are used to and what we know. So people find it very difficult to do that, and people just embrace fully all that they have known and all that they understand. Meanwhile, there's so much to understand that we can ever know. In science, there's something called dark matter. There's something called dark matter. And dark matter is essentially the idea, I just want to summarize it, the idea that all of matter, and when we say matter, we mean anything that has weight and occupies space. Anything that has weight and occupies space. That is matter. Dark matter says that of all the matter in the entire universe, mankind has only experienced, if I get it right, about 5% of matter. 5%. It means there is still 95% of unknown matter, unused, undiscovered. That is what they call dark matter, because it is still unknown. So imagine all that is in the 5%, sir. Car, plane, shoe, house, anything that has weight and occupies space. Everything we have ever done in life is still 5% of matter. You know, there's still 95%. So we can imagine how much innovation, inventions is still ahead of us that is still unknown. And all of this is known to God, though, because He made everything. You know, which is why superiority in life is tied to God's presence. I've told people that academics has its limits, education has ruled the world, but revelation is the future of the human race. And that comes from a walking, talking association with God, which is where we are going now. So it's going to get really interesting, really, really interesting.
Hey, somebody said. Now, I mean, from the little we've had, you would expect change. I mean, if we are using 5% only now, and there's still 95%, then you would gladly expect change, because you know that there's still more to come, much more to innovate, much more to deal with, and it frees you. It frees you from the past, so to say.
It's incredible, actually, because when we know that, you know, all of knowledge is elastic. Knowledge is elastic. Knowledge is a journey. It's not a destination. Experience itself is a journey, right? You see, these are the things that bring a level of humility to scientists. This is why these guys keep creating, because they know that at the height of human intelligence, it's a face in what is possible. So when you receive all that you know as only a face, the next question will be a face of what? You know, a face of what? And when you keep yourself there, you know, Pastor Yemi, I tell people that when we talk, every time we talk in four realms. There are four realms. Four realms. You know, every time we talk, every time we teach, every time we speak, you know, we can talk in four realms. Now, some people talk or speak in only one realm. Some speak in two. The people like Martin Luther King were communicating in the highest realm of communication. Right? And so many other people, right? The session we just had with Pastor Boju is a four-dimensional level of communication, right? And let me explain it. You can either speak about what is happening, or you can graduate to why it is happening. So you can talk between what and why. What and why. That's the energy of motivational speaking. Motivational speaking is what and why, what and why, what and why. And it's a level, right? It's never complete, right? So you got to move to how. So you can do what, why, how. How. And how is where the big thinkers are. You know, that is conversation with prescription. You know, that is where the biggest thinkers are. But then you have what next? You know, so you can speak what, why, how, and what next. You know, and that is the highest level of communication. So if you have all of the four in place in whatever we're doing, it's not just in speaking, even in expression. Your expression can be symbolic or representative of what or you know, why. Or just why, or how, you know, or what next. Yes, exactly. And that was where Jesus. That is what Jesus gave us, you know, in the gift of the Holy Spirit, because that last level of communication cannot be outside in. Motivation is outside in. You know, that level of communication is inside out. And that is why I'm convinced that no human being can compete with anyone with the Spirit of God inside of him, because the highest level of that clarity resides in us. We are not just experiencing the Holy Ghost around us like they used to do in the Old Testament. It's inside of us. Embody it. It's a residual. It's a residual experience for us. So this is the time of the church. I'm so excited about that. It's an incredible time.
What are the consequences when people don't respond to change? Sometimes some people are motivated like that, you know,
Yes.
What are the consequences when people don't respond to change? What have you observed over the years happen to people?
Unfortunately, sir, it's irrelevance. And yes, it's irrelevance. Irrelevance. And I'm not trying to, harass anyone. I'm not trying to make it difficult for anybody to receive the times. But you see, Pastor, let me break this down, because this is very important. People forget that powers don't vanish. Powers don't vanish. And importance does not evaporate. I'm going somewhere, sir.
Yeah.
Power and importance does not evaporate. What do I mean by that? When we left the Stone Age, stones were not exhausted in the world. When we left the Stone Age, stone did not finish in the world.
Yeah.
We just found better ways of doing things, right? We still have stones in the world today.
Yes.
And stones are still important to everything we do.
Yes.
But stones don't have the potency they used to have. They don't have the power they used to have. Because in the Stone Age, stone determined everything you will do. We give you fire, we give you everything. But now, stone is not dead. We still use stones. But stone is not the critical success factor of the human condition anymore. In the same way, it means that stones just faded in relevance. If you look at the British Empire, sir, if you look at the British Empire controls the world. They are not dead. They are still a powerful country. People still want to go to Britain tomorrow and still find their meaning, right? But the British Empire does not have the power it used to wield. They are still there, but they are faded on one spot, looking for more space. If you look at Italy, sir, Italy is the Roman Empire of how many years? They are still there. They are not a third world country. They are not poor. They just don't have the power they used to have, right? When the Roman Empire was in charge, we spoke Latin all over the world. Look at Greece, humble Greece that is looking for comfort in the European Union and seeking economic strength today. That was the legacy. That is the legacy of Alexander the Great, who conquered the known world of his time. Alexander the Great. The whole world spoke Greek. Just like we are speaking English now. The whole world spoke Greek. That's Alexander the Great. Turkey. If we look at humble Turkey today, Turkey is the Ottoman Empire, right? And that is Turkey today. Iraq is the Babylonian Empire. That is the Babylonian Empire, that ruled the world, which Daniel said there is no kingdom like it, So that was an incredible, huge, colossal empire. They are still there. So I say that to say that even Kodak controlled paper films. I mean, the paper films with strength. But Kodak is still there. They are still $1 million company, but they don't have the power they used to have. They don't have the market share. Look at Nokia. Look at Yahoo. Look at all these organizations. They are still there. The idea is powers don't fade. And Hebrews chapter 7 confirmed that. It said, the arrival of the new automatically defines the fading of the old. So the moment the new comes, the old fades. So when we are mapping the future, we should not look to evaporation. At times, we manage the wrong goalpost. We are trying not to disappear. You won't disappear. You will just be irrelevant. You will not just have the potency you used to have. And let me define relevance, sir. Let me define relevance. Relevance is making sense and being consumable by your observer. Making sense and being consumable, making enough sense for your observer to find you consumable and usable. It means if you make sense and I say, okay, that guy makes sense, but I can't buy his product, you are not relevant. You are not relevant to me. The of relevance is purchasing power. For example, if you are a product, you can't say you are relevant when nobody is buying you. They may know you. They may be aware that you are around, but you are not present enough to arrest their purchasing power, to send their purchasing power your way. They recognize that you are on ground, but they cannot give you the best of their time and their energy, right? So the idea is that we are moving into a new decade. Sir, this decade is going to be characterized by two statements. One, the fading of power as we know it. Two, one, the fading of power as we know it. Then the emergence of power as we are yet to know. So those two statements are going to define the next decade. Now, post-COVID, COVID is not COVID is what is happening. COVID is not what is going on. I need to make those two distinctions, because there's a difference between what is happening and what is going on, right?
Yeah.
What is happening is the energy of the masses.
Yeah.
That is what people talk about. That is what people camp around. That is what the news reports, right? But what is going on is what the power centers are architecting. It's what the agenda owners are initiating. Now, it feeds on the naivety of the masses. The masses are designed for manipulation. I'm sorry to say that. I'm very sorry to say that. I don't mean to be arrogant, but the masses are designed for manipulation. The critical duty of a human force is to ensure that at any point in time he is not in the masses. Now, he can be with the masses, but not in the masses. That is why the Bible says we are not of the world. We are in the world, no doubt, but we are not of the world. That is what science calls parallel universe. So there's something called parallel universe. It's a theory. The idea that you can be on one spot doing two different things at the same time.
Okay.
So you can be existing in two different universes, doing two different things. That is, for example, I am here now talking to Pastor Yemi right here.
Yeah.
That is a universe. The other universe is that I am also seated at the right hand of God doing something else.
Wow, yeah.
So that is a parallel universe, right? So, but parallel universes is also what happens when you want to pivot. When you have to pivot from a prevailing experience to another one, or you want to move from transportation to convert transportation to Uber. So let me break that down, sir. Every time a move like this comes, it's an impact on two things: on method and mission. On method and mission.
Yeah.
So I'll break that down. A lot of time we camp around the method, right? And we miss the mission. So what do I mean? Transportation is a mission. Transportation is a mission. It is timeless. Mission is always timeless. It cannot stop. It cannot be terminated. It's a constant.
Yeah.
But method must be changing in response to changing times, in response to changing people, in response to changing markets. So transportation is a mission, but Uber is a method. So air transport, car, taxi cab, horse, chariots, camel, horses, airplane, ship, they are all methods. And they will be changing in response to changing times. Music is a mission, but CD, tape, cassette, MP3, Bluetooth, all of that, the mission remains constant.
That's
even in the church, in ministry, we have to be clear about what is a method and what is mission.
And what is a mission?
Because a lot of time, when the method is being disrupted, we want to save it. And you can't save the transition of a method, or you are going to go with it. You only focus on the mission and protect that. So if we want to sit down today and analyze all that is, somebody said cake is a mission. Cake is not a mission. Cake is a method. The mission is food. The mission is food. So cake can vanish. Hotel is a method. Right?
Is a mission, like fun. But
it's a mission.
The people get the fun.
Exactly.
Can change.
It can change. And it will always change.
You can have
exactly. Great. Exchange is a mission. Exchange is a mission, but the way we exchange, whether online, offline, whether with a package or whatever, is a method. Growth is a mission. But how do we grow? How we grow? Even physical gathering is a method, and it will always be disrupted, right? It will always be disrupted because it's not a mission, The gospel is a mission. How it is experienced is a method.
Physical gathering, as it were, is not. It's not the mission. It's not the mission.
It's not the mission. It's a method.
It's not the mission. It's a method.
It's a method. And sir, I tell people a lot of times we struggle with understanding where God is on an issue. And I always tell people, God is not a mystery. He has no plan to be mysterious. He said, the Lord God does nothing without revealing it to his servants, the prophets. In the book Amos chapter 3, he said, the secret of the Lord is not with everybody, yes, but it is with those that reverence him. So God has no plan to be mysterious. He just demands a conditioning of reverence for you to see all that is available in Christ, right? And so a lot of times you may not know what God is up to, I tell people, but you can always know what God cannot be up to. You see? And selective thinking. Once you know what it cannot be up to, then what is, and you remove all of that.
So, removing those ones. Okay.
Yes, sir. So what is visiting the world now, not part of it is coincidence. COVID, as a matter of fact, is a move of the devil, no doubt, but it is achieving something higher in the world. In the same way that killing Christ was a move of the devil. But inside that killing, there is a virus that God has put there that will achieve God's intent. So the idea is God wants to heal the world. And without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sin. Somebody has to kill Christ, and God does not kill. He doesn't do the dirty job. So the one that kill, that steal, and destroy is the devil. So what God has done is to keep his agenda as a virus in the plan of the devil, such that the devil does everything and God takes all the glory. That's why he said, had they known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. So a lot of times the machination of hell is also the incubation of the next level in God. So people have to be cautious.
Sorry.
People
Time out. The machinations of hell.
The machination of hell is always an incubation for the next level in God. So no matter what the devil is doing, we just need to slow down, because when the devil is done, God is done. And the devil does everything, God does nothing, but gains everything. So I mean, that's it. The biggest move the devil ever made in his life, the biggest move he ever made, was putting Jesus on the cross. You see? But that was also God's biggest move without making any move. Right?
Wow.
The devil did everything, and when he was done, God said, I'm done. And the devil said, no, you can't be done. I did everything. I killed him. He said, yes. Just when you are done, I'm done. So I always tell people, every time you see, if you can pause, and display more composure, I'm very sure you are being released into a level unprecedented. COVID has slowed the world down so that those who were out of the loop can catch up. So that those who were out of the loop can catch up. Right?
Hello. Oh, COVID has slowed everything down so those who are out of the loop can catch up.
Amazing.
Can catch up. So you're a prophet. You're a prophet. You don't know you're a prophet.
Yes.
You're a COVID-19 prophet.
Yes. I'm coded in the world. Wow. I'm coded in the world as a futurist, but I hear you, sir.
Because people think prophets should have beard, they should wear white garments,
no.
Those things. You're a brain box. You know what I call brain box? Wow. Wow.
Pastor Yemi, you can crack me.
Let me drink something small. Olua. Sir, what are the major changes that you foresee that will happen this season? Major changes.
Great. Yeah. Great. Thank you, sir. Let me first of all backtrack a bit and remind everyone that with or without COVID, these changes are going to happen. These changes were going to happen, whether we like it or not, because of two things. First of all, sir, every 500 years, something unprecedented, unplanned hits the church. And when it hits the church, it shapes the culture and transforms society and takes us to a new place. It impacts on our theology in the church, and it impacts on culture in the system. So, but it starts with the church. The last one was the Martin Luther Reformation of 1517. The Martin Luther Reformation of 1517 was the last 500 years. That Reformation changed our theology, disrupted the church in many ways. But what people don't know is that Reformation also was the beginning of democracy as we know it today. Everything we call democracy today began from there, because it was that Reformation that brought free inquiry. It brought free inquiry. It brought little governments. Little government as we have it today came from that movement, right? Democracy and regulation as we have it today came from that movement, right? And then it went to society and changed the whole world.
Everything.
Yes. Now, 2017 was the end of another 500 years, sir. 2017 was the end of that 500 years. From 1517 to I released a MP3, 4 parts, called Borderlessness, where I explained to everybody that the world has changed. The world has changed. If you watch from 2017, all the attack on the church, tithing, our benevolence, and all of that began, everything we call Dr. Freeze and all of that began from 2017. And globally, events began to impact on the church. Some of them wrong, some of them wrongly motivated, but all of them are working together for the good of the church. Because some preach Christ out of pretense, hoping to pull us down. Some preach it out of a pure heart. Whether in pretense or in truth, Christ in spirit, and in that we rejoice. And so there is a constancy to the advancement of the church that no machination can limit. But the machinations are needed for us to be able to come to higher levels of operation. And so a lot of people who stood against the church, they are also going to fade in the newness. Because if you carry change with disrespect, it's a self-initiated attack on your own continuity. When you handle change with disrespect and irreverence, that is why I tell young people who criticize the fathers to have understanding. Because you will reign to introduce an order of change, but even you are going to terminate as you move into the future, because you have forgotten that the change you are managing is actually given to you as a custodian within a phase. So when you come with rudeness and attitude to communicate a change, it is fine, you will win, but your win is short-lived, because you are initiating an attack that will terminate your own continuity. But if we live there and we move on to what has happened is that we have come now into a technological lifestyle. And I've told everyone that cares to listen, I've been saying this since 2018. I put it on CD. We sold over 10,000 copies of it. So a lot of people know what I'm talking about. I told everyone in my yearly futurist seminar conference that I do in January, and I said this year is going to be impacted by a major disruption. We even went on to say there's going to be a global recession. We broke all of that down. But with humility, I must say I never knew it would be a pandemic. I never knew it would be a pandemic. But we knew that we were ready for change. In 2018, I said that when it gets to 2020 and 2021, the change will have been complete and the world will be embracing newness at a level unprecedented. So what has happened, the changes that has happened now is that we have come into what I call a technocracy. We have come into what I call a technocracy. We are going to speak, yes, sir. We are going to speak less and less about underdeveloping, developing, and developed world. We are going to speak more and more about smarter and smarter countries. And smartest countries. We are going to speak less and less about democracy. Watch it, right? Not that democracy will go, it will only take, it will become a secondary experience. The primary experience is going to be a technocracy. And in a technocracy, all ideas, all human thinking, all behavior, and every incursion, every strategy, any form of management will be done through technology. Every idea will be driven by technology and managed by technologists. Every human idea will be driven by technology and managed by technologists. And when we say technologies, we don't mean everybody will be a superior techie, but there will be a minimum level of expression that will be technologically sensitive. So the implication is that there is now a dependence. Sir, I need to explain this. There's now a critical dependence of the 99% on the 1%. Before COVID, there was a coexistence between the 1% and the 99%. There was a balance of power. When I say the 1%, is the theory that 1% of the people of the world control the wealth. For 95% of the people. So for 90% of the people. So the idea is that before COVID, a carpenter can choose when to work for a billionaire or how he wants to work. He can make that choice. But in post-COVID, he doesn't have that choice. That choice is taken away. He must work. When he will work, how he will work, and what he will earn will be determined by the 1%. His choice to determine that everything we are doing now is tied to how we negotiate with the 1%. And all ideas must negotiate with the 1%. The 99% are pawns. They are available for manipulation. Sadly, the duty of power in this time is to ensure that we cultivate our reality in such a way that we take a stake in the 1%, not in the 99%. Because the 99% will be available for manipulation and for all kinds of engagements that they cannot prepare for. Now, if you ask me, sir, what is the key ideas that people should take away, in architecting relevance in post-COVID? I would say they must now recognize that in a technocracy, everything online must be the front door to what we do.
Front door.
Everything front door.
Not back door.
Everything not back door anymore. Yes. Okay. What we do offline is now back door. It's now back door. What we do online is front door. Sir, there is a store in England called Primark. Called Primark. I'm sure you know Primark. Primark is suffering terribly right now. They are suffering terribly. And why are they suffering? Because their business is offline. Everything they are doing is offline. They were not online at all, right? Compared to Walmart in the United States.
There was a month Primark had zero income. I think
yes, sir.
April, zero. It was that bad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where their colleagues were making some millions in spite of the.
Wow. I mean, Walmart. Every time you go into Walmart, sir, they are always hiring. Walmart has hired more staff in COVID and all the lockdown, probably more than any other organization, and Amazon as well, because their business model has always been online. Online has been the front door to what they do. So what I always tell people is, no matter what you are doing now, the key question is, you don't abandon what you are doing offline. That would be a terrible mistake. You cannot abandon what you are doing and how you are doing offline. But it's now back door to what you do. Online is now front door. So if a friend of mine who is a pastor, somebody you know very well, one of our friends was speaking to me, and he said, this is what we are doing online. I said, you don't get it. I said, can I ask you a question? He said, what? I said, how many first-timers came to the church today? He said, I don't know. I said, then you are not online yet. I said, because...
That's like back door in a way. If it's in the front,
I said, because, yes.
Know. Wow.
Yes,
wow.
because when you were offline, you know everybody that came first time. So making online front door is reproducing everything we did offline, online. Everything. So include everything. Wow. Every department that functions offline has to function online, right? And that is a game changer any day, right? I want to pause there because I don't know if there are other. I don't go too much in another direction.
God is good. No, I hope you're all picking up a lot of steering. I think the steering is heavy. It's so much, and it's going to help all of us to forage into new things. And then I like this offline, online thing, the front door thing. It's going to help every business person, to be able to reposition themselves. Because the thinking is, I realize that a lot of people are eager for things to get back to normal, but the real motive is they want to go back to the way things were before. That's a wrong mindset.
Yes. Wrong mindset.
I want to go back to business. They should open the market. The eagerness is to go back to the way they were doing business or doing ministry. And that some few months now, people will be scared of going out. So when they are scared of going out, so they'll be searching for replacements online. Okay, how can I do my clothes online? Can you take my measurements online? So that's it. I don't need to come to your shop, or you come to my house to measure me. Can you give me your can you give me your measurement and you sew and then you deliver and I won't leave my house. The same thing for maybe baking or anything, or can I even bake myself? Everything. Can I even bake myself at home by just following some steps online, different things like that. So people are thinking up to change. Are there particular fields that you think would be a bit more, like should we say this is their season kind of, thing?
Yes. Supply chain for one. Supply chain. Anything around deliveries, anything around logistics, supply chain is booming right now. Booming, right? The luxury business is going to boom. And I always encourage everyone to consider a luxury option to what they do. For example, people can actually have two expressions for the same niche that they cover, right? Okay. For example, Toyota is a brand for everybody, but Lexus is owned by Toyota, and that is their luxury version, right? So I tell people, take a stake in the options, right? For example, some people say, I don't like Facebook. I Facebook is everybody. I prefer Instagram. But whether you go to Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, you are paying the same person, Mark Zuckerberg, right? In Nigeria, people forget that the same company that owns Peak Milk owns 3 Crown, right? 3 Crowns is for everybody. Peak Milk is for some people. So I tell people, because we are in a recession already. Recession is a direct impact on purchasing power because opportunity has shrunk. Therefore, you want to camp around the people with purchasing power. And the 1% will always have purchasing power and of your fashion designing so that you can work with the 1% more. Right?
Wait. It's okay. But I want that 1%. I want to be there.
You are there, sir.
I want to be 1% of that 1%. So, can you give us some tips on being in that 1%? It might be stretchy for people, but one or two things that will help people. It's better to think of that 1% because that 99% is not the best. Please.
Yes, I think that 3 things they have to do. The first thing they have to do is to accept that change has come. Okay. Right? Is to accept that change has come. And when I say they should accept it, they should not look for pain to be the instructor of that change. Because there's a way we can be waiting for discomfort to announce the change. Because change is An alarm will not go forth and say, "Pam, you are now COVID-19 positive." There's no alarm. You are going to live like before, enjoy the kiss, but you have contracted something that will change your life. When a woman gets pregnant, we don't hear any sound. There's no bone coming together. Say, what's that? I think I'm pregnant. They don't hear anything. It's a noiseless effect, right? When Samson lost the power, the Bible said he got up like before. Because the withdrawal was noiseless. So when David was anointed king, it was a noiseless effect because he didn't see that throne until almost 17 years after. And then when Saul was rejected as king, he was still on the throne because it's a noiseless effect. I'm sure by the 10th year, Saul must have said somewhere, by the 16th year, he must have said the same thing. But we always forget that change is noiseless. Change is noiseless. When people say they are leading change, they are managing, they are birthing change, they just speak to comfort themselves. It's therapeutic. In reality, only God can initiate change. And the arrival of change is noiseless. You don't feel anything. If you sleep with somebody that is HIV positive, right now, you don't feel any sharp pain that says, "Oh, you are positive." But from that moment, your life has changed terribly. You can even die if you don't manage it well, if you don't give yourself to the right treatment. So the thing is, when change comes, it is noiseless. So I always tell people, don't wait for the sound of change, because change has a noiseless effect. Every time we say we are coming around change, it's always too late. We are coming around the effect of change. So change has to be caught in its noiseless format. So change has already happened, and nobody should forget that. The second thing is audit. We should audit where we are now, right? We should audit seriously before we commit to anything. Customer satisfaction is dead, for example. What we are dealing with now is customer prejudice and customer preferences, right? Again, the idea of market penetration, like total quality management, is dead. There's no such thing as total quality management. Quality cannot rule the future. Experience is what rules the future. You can have the best product. That is why a fool can have the greatest traction online, right? Content used to be king, but content is no longer king. Container is the new king now, not content. Because on social media, the noisiest is the wisest, right? Not that it is wise, but it's what everybody is listening to. So if you have a lot of content and you are not able to unlock a feeling from that content, right? Particularly with Gen Z and experience, wow, your quality will be arrested. You'll be saying all the right things, but it's not going anywhere. Okay? Wow. So we have to audit. And what do we audit? I think there are 7 questions that allows us to audit. The first one is, what is too much? We should be asking ourselves now, what is too much in everything we are doing? Am I overstaffed? Am I too loyal to a principle? Is there a strategy that has outlived its relevance? What is too much right now? Second question is, I need to upskill, because there are two different things. Reskilling, upskilling are 2 different things. So what is too little in my life? Then where is my new money? Where is my new money? Because there's new money already.
I like that one, no.
Where is the new money? Where is the new money, right? So, and what I mean is, newness has come. Your money, don't assume your money is still where it used to be. Your money might have moved. For example, it doesn't make sense anymore to continue to earn within the limits of your geography. If you look at the Naira, for example, it's so weak right now. You have to begin to see how to earn, outside, of your geography. How does the American pay you? How do they pay you in Brussels, in Berlin? How do they pay you from Joburg? Because if you limit yourself to your currency, what makes a first world country is 5 things. One of them is the power of the currency. And if you don't graduate your income from your local currency to a forex that is universal, that is more globally acceptable, right? You are limiting your capacity to operate. So deliberately pay you in dollars or in pounds. You see, that is a major game changer. The financial power of the future are people who are going to earn universally, not locally. So I tell people, transcend the test of locality and begin to pass the test of universality. Begin to audit what you do by universal standards. Ask yourself, can the French see me? Because in asking where your money is, you also have to pass 3 other tests. The test of recognizability, which is visibility.
Yeah.
People need to be able to see you where you are, and they need to be able to recognize what you represent. So recognizability, transferability. Can people move what you do from country to country without borders, without any limitation? Can your ideas, can your product, can your message move? Can the American listen to you and recognize you? Can the German hear you and appreciate what you are saying? Can the British see you and bring you into his life and sit you in his life? Can you rent a space in the head of anyone in the world, or only in the head of Nigerians? Can you rent a space in the head of the Congolese, of the Kenyan, of the Ghanaian, of the American, of the British? Can you rent a space in their head, or can you only do it within your locale? So that's the test of recognizability, transferability.
See, you have an event by 7 p.m., sir, right?
Yes, sir.
Can we do an extra 15 minutes? This thing is almost going off now. Can we do an
extra we can.
15 minutes? So we're going to go off in the next 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll come back, and then we'll spend 15 minutes, because this substance is going to help people navigate this season well. So just do 15 minutes so we can release our prophet to do his next event. So
thank you.
We'll be back by 7:01 Nigerian time, 7:01, 7:02 Nigerian time. Don't run away, futuristic man. Please.
I know I'm here.
Please. So we'll go on a break now. Let's release PK. We'll be back by 7:01. Sorry, 6. Oh, sorry. I'm making a mistake now. We'll be off in 1 2 minutes, so we'll be back by 6:32, 6:33.
Yes,
6:32 Nigerian time. Okay, please. Universal thinking, please. You hope you get that now. You know. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah. Wait. So people, my head is burning. Or I mean, my head is burning. You know. We'll be back. We'll be back in the next 2 minutes with PK. It's on fire. It's always on fire, but it's so relevant now. And let me just say this ahead. We'll be having Odion Igalo by 7:45 p.m. Nigerian time. 7:45 p.m. Nigerian time. So we have enough time after this particular session to prepare for that. I'm really eager to also listen to him, his story. 7:45 for Odion Igalo. And many people have been asking. All these videos will be out by tomorrow. By weekend, the videos will be out. I want to appreciate everyone for joining. It's a new season. God will help us to maximize the season. I'm enjoying this. I'm stirred up. I believe that it's our best moment. In a time of crisis is when new stars rise. And you and I were going to be rising, being a blessing to humanity. And the name of Jesus will be glorified in our lives, in our families, in our organization. So we'll be off now in the next... for the next 2-3 minutes, we'll be back just in a moment. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. So